Well, thank you so much. I respect the chair and the committee to give me the opportunity to talk something about digital transformation from an operational point of view. So I hope in the next 10 minutes, I could leave you with some of the ideas on how to approach this complete enablement solution in terms of your respective operations and take help from whatever is available in the industry. This is a simplistic curve that has been published in various forms in many journals in the past 3-4 years, that how other industries have accepted digital in a very fast-paced environment. Of course, because they are not that too dependent on the HSC regulations, as well as it is not that difficult industry to work in, such as ours. And what I'm showing here on the curve is that if you look at from the energy sector, moving from the desktop, the inception of using laptops, using softwares, enabling our reservoir engineers to work on certain problem statements, we are at the stage of having some edge elements and digital operation elements directly at the field. So this is a work in progress. Some of the countries are ahead at the curve, but you'll be surprised to know that India is already at the third step, in which a lot of operators have taken remote autonomous operations as part of some of the pilot projects that are happening. Now, when we talk about all these technologies, the ultimate objective is to have more barrels in our pocket, have more oil to be coming out from the respective wells, and ensuring that our facilities are maintained well enough. Now, if we compare it with the subsurface landscape, it is very difficult to identify one single problem with a production landscape. It could be very well dependent basis on the wells. It could be dependent on the surface facilities. It could be dependent on logistics. It could be dependent on resources. So if you are looking to identify one single problem statement to address through digital, it would be very, very difficult. And in order to do that, how exactly our objective should be is what I'm trying to communicate here. And this is a very standard curve, which is a production rate versus time sequence. And this is how usually most of our fields operate, in which we see a decline after a steady period of time. And there are some definitions that you're seeing. That is, T1 is the time to detect when you realize that, okay, my production is not coming up to the mark. T2 is the time to analyze and diagnose the event, that what exactly went wrong. And T3 is the time when you take the actions. Now, through all the digital technologies that you'll find with respect to all the technology companies, all we are trying to do is, can we detect the event quickly? Can we reduce our time to analyze and diagnose the event? And subsequently, can we also reduce the time to take actions? And this in turn actually gives us the extra barrels that we are missing out today. So all the technologies, they are very specific to a certain problem-solving exercise, but ultimately this is an objective that we should set in order to ensure that we have that extra barrel gain from our fields. Now, this is a very complex slide, and this talks about how exactly digital is being levered in different forms of structures within a working group of E&P value chain. Now, it could start at your field level, it could start at your well level, it could then move to your office headquarter level, it could then move to your user level, and subsequently the main aspect is that it could move to an enterprise level if there is the right vision and the right objectives being set by the leaders of that particular asset or that particular group. Now, we have all the tools and technologies available here and there, parts, bits and pockets. It's up to us whether what makes sense to utilize for one particular field, for one particular operation. And you'll be surprised to know that all these technologies are coming from different industry partners. We have been taking inspiration to develop these technologies from pharma industry, from automotive industry, even from nuclear industry, and at the same time trying to combine everything in one single package to ultimately have one objective to be resolved. Now, essentially, this is a school of thought that I want to leave you with so that we can have more discussion in the upcoming years on that. Any digital transformation related to surface operation essentially falls into the bracket of 3 pillars: intelligent production operations, connected production enterprise, and production and process optimization. Now, going into more further detail on that, production and process optimization is something that we have been doing in the past 20 years. This talks about how we can utilize physics-based modeling, how we can utilize the domain knowledge, the experience we have of working in these operations over the last 20, 30 years, and come out with a root cause analysis to solve the production challenge. Now, the other two elements, the connected production enterprise and intelligent production operations, are relatively new in the industry. The connected production enterprise talks more about how you can liberate the data. Now, we have a lot of data in terms of subsurface, that is in form of PDFs, in form of Excel sheets, and with all the exploration locations that have to be identified, all this data is utilized. But as of today, there is no single platform or no single analysis in which we have the production data at one single aspect or a one single layer. And this becomes a major challenge for us, because in order to do all these process and production optimization that we are good at, we don't have the right amount of data. And it is more than the right amount of data, the quality and where the data is located, that becomes very crucial. Sometimes it takes some engineers to have like 3 days to get different Excel sheets from different departments just to collate every information, and by the time your well has already lost 3 days of production. So this is where this crucial piece of information is what we should be targeting to ensure that the intelligent production operations and the optimization, that we know how to do it already, we are able to do it in a seamless manner. Now, the third aspect, intelligent production operations, becomes, it's more about how you can provide autonomy at your well site, how you can have some decisions at remote locations being taken directly at the field level, HQ level, while rather not waiting for the operator to take a car, to go there in the next 8 hours, figure out what is wrong, call the headquarters, what action do I need to take, and then finally take up some action. So if you are able to solve these 3 layers in one particular fashion, we will be able to have a sustained form of production. We talk about increasing production. As of today, our major challenge, I believe, is to sustain the production at a certain level so that we are able to take that journey of including intelligent production operations in our landscape. Now, rest of the operations in terms of optimization softwares, I'm not going to speak about that. Considering the time limit, I would like to leave you with certain school of thoughts in which we should work collaboratively. You will see that talks like OSDU, having data standardization, having different forms of data management system, they all work very fine till we have the subsurface data, till we have the seismic data. But what about if I have one layer in which I can ingest data from my export line, my trunk line, my production facilities, and also my logistics team can help analyze whether this data makes sense for them or not. So this is where the industry is working towards. There are asset performance, production performance data sets that are being embedded into certain ingestion engine. Now it's all up to us whether we identify the right frame of mind on where to apply this, at which asset to apply this, at which organization to apply this. And in the interest of time, I'll just leave you with certain value outcomes. They are mentioned as value outcomes, but I think we should consider them more as objectives. If we fix the objective of a production problem at the start, we can use 3-4 complex technologies to ensure we get the right solution, and that would be not that expensive, so that every barrel gain gives us that return of investment so that we can take this digital journey with a much supreme confidence level. We should look at how we can increase the people productivity rather than not having people at all. We should have engineers focus more on analysis rather than spending time on gathering data. And we should look at reducing downtime of certain applications, and as well as considering all this in the bracket of safe operations and with a vision that we have in 2070 to reduce emissions with all these facilities. Thank you so much, and I would be happy if we can discuss further during the lunch hour.